See if we can get you in there.
Is he not here?
Good morning, everybody.
Hiya.
So we'll just see if anybody comes on today. So today we've been asked to speak about acceptance and what the person meant by that. The person that asked us to speak about this today was about kind of how we go about accepting people's flaws, how we go about recognizing that none of us are perfect, and you know, how we go about without kind of putting on this fake persona. So that was kind of the crux of what they wanted us to kind of chat through this morning. And good morning, guys, on Insta. So they wanted us basically to have a chat about that. So as Stuart was saying earlier, when I told him that that's kind of what the person was asking us to speak about, was, you know, often the things that we are most attracted, morning Erin, most attracted to in people can often end up being the things that annoy us most about the person. And then we try to change that. We don't accept the person for what they are. We try to change them to fit in with what our expectations are, or what our beliefs are, or what our values are. And that kind of doesn't always, never works, really.
Doesn't bode well, for sure.
No. So what do you got to say about acceptance and flaws, my dear?
Well, I suppose it's quite it's a thing that happens unconsciously, and I think just in terms of being aware of it can allow us to maybe just check ourselves, because it's like everything else is, everything about life starts here, at ourselves, at our own doorstep, and it's how we behave, it's how we see things, it's how we give consent to people around us to give us information, to give us facts and give us details. Looking at behaviours of other people, you know, there is no perfection anyway, as we know. And in pursuit of that leads to misery more often than not.
Yeah, I think like when we're seeking perfection, we're saying that there can often be saying that there's something wrong with us, as opposed to accepting all parts of us. And this is something, I actually did a meditation yesterday that was about emotions, and it was about removing, so the emotion that was coming up through my meditation for me was fear, and it was a fear of change. And this particular meditation asked you to remove that emotion, put it in front of you, and see what it looked like, connect with it. But then I was really surprised and wasn't expecting it. It asked me to put that back in to me because it was part of me. And as I did that, I was kind of like, oh gosh, I don't really want to put that part of me back in me, because it felt like that part was flawed. But then it actually really supported me, because it helped me recognize that all parts of you are valid, just as all parts of other people are valid, and it makes up who you are. So whether that is deemed positive or negative, like what might be viewed as positive by one person might be viewed as negative by another. So like, you know, we were like saying earlier in the bathroom, we were saying, and you were like, oh wow, like, you know, you might be attracted to someone that's really loud or gregarious, or like, you know, totally out there, but then as your relationship develops, that might be the thing that annoys you about that person. So then you try and change that person to fit, well, I don't really like that anymore because that's not me. So
I suppose what part of that is insecurities.
Yeah.
I think that I've seen it with loads of friends, family and all that kind of stuff, is that, you know, getting into relationships, what attracts you to the person, you actually want to stop that person doing that. Now you've caught them as your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend or whatever, and you don't want them to be that attractive to somebody else.
Oh, I never thought about it that way.
But then what happens is their light slowly and surely dulls and makes them a different person than the one that you actually met. So it is about, the action of consenting to receive. That's what acceptance, I think, is. Allowing to receive what other people have, which may be totally different to you more often than not anyway.
I think that's
really
quite
crucial.
interesting from a relationship point of view. You saying that about, like, they try and change that person because they don't want them to be attractive to other people. I would never even have, like...
Perhaps. Well, I'm not saying that's a conscious decision.
But like that's really interesting, I think. Like, and I suppose, like you see that sometimes when people try to control the way their partner dresses
Absolutely.
or where they go or
Definitely.
like who they hang out with, or I think that's one thing we've been really fortunate in finding in each other, that we both kind of just like are quite...
Do whatever you like.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But that doesn't mean like you have never wanted to change people, like change things about each other, because I know, like, I obviously went from this period of really relying on Stuart when I was ill and stuff to really feeling more empowered and growing and changing and like wanting to do so many different things, and my lifestyle changing, and that, like, I wanted you to do the same. Like, I was like, no, like, you need to be the same as me. Like, you need to, like, be on this same path, when actually, you don't. Like, that's somebody else's path. That's somebody else's life to lead. And I think this is where the person that messaged in, asking us to speak about acceptance, was coming from. Like, we try and think that the person should do as we do and behave as we behave, but that's not human nature. Like, that's controlling. That's not acceptance. So I think, as you grow and change, you can't expect everyone to grow at the same rate as you, or you can't expect everyone to be in the same place as you.
And the thing is, as well, with acceptance, is that, it is allowing perhaps unknown into your life via somebody else or some other situation, and it doesn't, acceptance doesn't have to be forever, permanent, and that's it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you accept something, like the way you have a relationship with somebody, and you think, okay, well, that's it forever, but really that could change.
Yeah.
Based on your experiences, your maybe changing values, the way you're talking about growth that people have, a different growth path. But it's actually, for me, the joy that I get out of seeing Susie grow and develop physically, spiritually, emotionally, is a huge charger for me, because I feel that she's on this journey that is, tremendous for her, and if it's great for her, it's got to be good for me. As I say, we said maybe in one of the other chats about, turning up for people, being the best you can be for other people, because that, if you work on yourself, we work on being who we are, then we give that good person to other people, and that's what I feel with Susie.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, Nikki's just saying that she was just thinking about this before she clicked onto the live. So I think, acceptance is about truly being yourself, not that, like, this is kind of the other element of what the person was wanting us to discuss, like putting this fake persona out into the world of what your life is like is exhausting. It is makes you feel less than, it makes you feel crap in your actual life if you're trying to pretend to be something that you're not.
Your core values are certainly not being met.
No.
in that instance, and that's what makes you feel that way as well. Eh?
Yeah, so then you feel out of alignment. Then you can feel anxious because you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You don't know who you're supposed to be pleasing. You don't know how you're supposed to be behaving. You know, and ultimately, it's a real false existence. And I know many people live with various lies or, you know, personas, and it just makes me so sad. Like, I was doing my journaling this morning, and I'm just thinking, like, and I said this to you, like, I'm so blessed. Like, I just wish there was more hours in the day, like, because I love every single thing I do. I love learning more and more and more, and I just want to share more and more and more. And, like, there's, like, you know, just, but that's because I'm being myself. Like, there's, like, I'm not trying to do anything, so it feels like more of a flow. Arlene's saying, having the bravery to walk your own path when you know you could lose the one you love as they see it as a threat. Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely went through that stage, and, you know, we mentioned it on other ones where, you know, we went for counselling and stuff.
Did we? Oh, so sorry, yeah, we did.
Unforgettable.
Indeed.
So we, you know, like, so yeah, so Arlene's saying, you know, like, she's saying she did lose the one that she loved, but she's now walking her own path with her 2 children, and that is so hugely brave, Arlene, and I, like, absolutely admire that. And, you know, I did reach that point myself, like, in our relationship, whereby you grow, like, you're growing so much that, like, sometimes it doesn't feel that that person's a match for you anymore, like, that you just don't have that connection you once had. And you probably don't, because you will be, like, and I know that you've traveled up, like, on your spirituality as well, Arlene, like, you will be in a different vibration, and that maybe sounds all woo-woo out there, but, you know, when you begin to step into this more authentic person, when you begin to step into who you truly are, you begin to create boundaries of what's acceptable and not acceptable. And like, I think that is so incredible that you have made that brave step. And I think for your children, it's an absolutely beautiful thing to see that that being yourself is important, and there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you don't have to hide anything. You don't have to pretend to be something you're not. So, a hugely brave step, and I think that that's something to really admire and inspire, and you know, to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, what happens with growth is it's change. Change the way you see things, change the way you do things, change the way you behave towards things. And I think a thread in a lot of these communications and everything in life really are certain key things that if you can work on them or get them, they can actually impact the other areas that that we're maybe talking about here. You know, things like you know, communication. You know, communication's key. You know, let someone know how you feel, let somebody know what you think, the way they're behaving, the way they're talking, communicating things
but
like that.
But equally not having to change to make them feel better.
That's right. Yep.
And I think that's kind of, you know, what Arlene's kind of brought to the table, the conversation that, you know, we cannot change anyone. I got a beautiful card from a client, and I actually spoke about this in my 5 Weeks to Calm course recently, about the Serenity prayer. Let me grab it. Hold the fort, Stu.
I'm holding it.
And you know, the Serenity prayer is all about acceptance of people's behaviours, and your own behaviours. Love you too, Arlene. Thank you. On Instagram. And the Serenity prayer is, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I'll just say that one more time. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So...
Give us an example of what that might mean then.
So, for the serenity prayer, so for example, say you're, so like when I stopped drinking and you were still drinking, okay?
Yeah.
So I would want to control Stuart and say, well, no, like, you shouldn't be drinking. Like, I'm not drinking. Why do you need to drink? And what I came to recognize is, like, that's not my path. That's not my decision to make. That is absolutely your decision to make. I have zero control over that. But what I do have control over is my response to it. I do have control over the fact that just because I want to go for a walk, or just because I don't want to drink, or just because I want to go for a run, doesn't mean that you have to want the same.
Yep. Yep.
So it's changing the things. So knowing the difference between trying to control and change someone, and that could be like, so for example, coronavirus, okay? So there's so many different thoughts, beliefs, things going on in and around what's the right way to behave and what it all means, but that's your own opinion. Like, everyone is entitled to their own opinion and belief. That is what feels right and true for them. It's not our job to change a person. It's to accept that person with whatever they may believe is right for them. Yeah. Like, we can't say, well, that's wrong.
No. But what I would say also is that the other thing, key thing that we have and that we all pursue in life anyway is choices. Having more choices to choose what we can't do and what we can and can't have and all that, and who we will and will not be with. Is as difficult and as painful as it is, change is growth, and as we know, growth can be joyous, it can be enthralling, but it can be painful, and it can be destructive and all sorts of stuff. But you have to choose, and you can choose, the path that you take. You can decide that yourself, and you can talk with your partner, or you can discuss whether that's something that is maybe not just for you but for both or forever. Paths do change. As I say, accept it's not forever. We have to work at it for being forever, and that's what we've certainly done for this last 100 years anyway. I'll give you a simple example of the serenity thing. Is you can't control the weather. So you get up in the morning, you put on your shorts and your t-shirt and all that stuff, and it's chucking it down with rain. You can't change that, but you can change what you wear. You can go and put on wellies and an over jacket and go out. So you know the difference between I can change, I can do the things I can do, but I can't change certain things. So that's pretty simple. But
yeah, that's good. That's a good example. So does anybody have any questions about acceptance and flaws? And I think a really great example of this is like, I get so annoyed with your eating, like the sound of you eating.
You've never told me that.
So it
takes to have
I kind of have to accept that that's just the noise you make when you drink a smoothie.
Okay. Would you like an explanation?
Because I don't think you did like warts and all. I did say like warts and all. Yeah, okay.
Is because I can't breathe.
Yeah, this is true.
I can't breathe through my nose very well. So when I'm eating, I get that slurping noise. I won't eat on this chats in the morning, really.
So it's about accepting everything.
Yeah,
you have to accept my movement from untidiness to complete crazy minimalism in one day.
Yeah. How long have you got? Yeah.
John's saying we can't change events going on around us. It's accepting the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another thing here as well, is about perception. I learned very early in my recruitment career about perception that, perception is reality, whether it's true or whether it's not. So a person's view of something, their perception of something, is their reality. Your view on the same thing can be totally different. So in your view, that's true. And understanding and knowing that is where you can actually have harmony with each other, and in teams even. You can have the same thing. I mean, I did some lecturing in night classes, and you say the same thing to 25 people, and they pick it up totally differently. It's because we're all different. As long as they learn from it, and they can add value to it, and they can improve their life from it and with it, that's the key.
Something's just jumped into my head there that I was I've worked through myself, and I'm working through with a client just now, is accepting the flaws of our past, so our past behaviours. Like, I have had many lives, as have you. And making and accepting, and this is where this perception comes in, so judging our past behaviours based on where we are now. So oh my gosh, that what you did there was so unacceptable, that was so crazy, and that you could have really hurt someone, or did whatever, but you're looking at that based on where you are now, as opposed to what you were thinking then, and you only know what you know. So I think it's about, and that's the same as that meditation I mentioned at the start, accepting all parts of you, not judging them as wrong, or all you can, and that's that serenity to change the things. You can't change those past actions. All you can do is change your response to them now, or change your behaviours around that now. So it's about acceptance and making peace with our past, making peace with our present, making peace with our future. And
I mean, in some trainings I had years ago, again, from a guy called Zig Ziglar, a great magic American coach and trainer and mentor, and he was talking about past, present and future, and he was saying that your past is really important, because it is what has helped you get to where you are, but it's not as half as important as the way you see where you're going, your future. So it's, yes, accepting the past, it's good, bad and ugly, and so forth, but it's how you use that and take that and move forward with that in a positive, impacting way for your life and for other people that you actually come into interaction with, whether it's your friends, your partners, children, colleagues, etc. That's, in my view, is hanging on to stuff, as Susie says, is draining, and it does bog you down. If you can shed it, or put it in a department or a compartment, and actually go and think about moving forward, perhaps that's another conversation for another day, about moving forward and stuff. But,
yeah, maybe we could do that next week.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that's so true. Making friends with our past, and our present and our future, and accepting people for who they are, what they are, without trying to control, change, or expect somebody to behave the way we are. We've covered expectations. I can get that word out there. I was before, but accepting people for who they are, accepting that people don't need to be on the same path as you, accepting people don't need to be in that your same lane.
Correct.
You can be going in the same place, but not necessarily on the same road.
That's right. Different vehicles get to the same locations.
Yeah. So, does everybody have questions before we log off for today? It's our Tuesday. So we've got a fun day poo picking today, don't we, darling?
Yeah, we've got to bag.
We've got lots of manure to bag for people for their gardens. So
no sales pitch, pound a bag, manure, 35 kilos.
Totally natural.
Yeah, all funds go to the Howlands Tree Forest Project.
So yeah.
So if you want any manure for your
money
plot,
goes to supporting our trees.
Correct.
So that's what we're doing today. We are bagging up some horse poo for some people's allotments and gardens, so that'll be super fun. We'll make it super fun.
Squeeze a lunch in somewhere.
And so I hope you guys have an epic day. Sending your love. Please do send us in anything you want us to cover. It's good to show up with whatever you guys feel that you need support with. Obviously, everything's anonymous. We never say, oh, so and so asked us to speak about this. So yeah.
Well done.
So Erin on Insta saying sounds like a crap day. Laughing emoji. Lol, lol, lol. So yeah. It will be. It will be. Okay.
Great
well, love to you all. Have a awesome Tuesday. And I'll be back tomorrow. And you'll be back next week.
All right.
So, lots of love. Bye. Bye, John. Bye, whoever else is on watching on Facebook.